We've been talking a lot about the Gilbert Goons. And they allegedly killed a 16-year-old boy. And that boy, his name is Preston. And he went to high school. He was on the basketball team. His friends are grieving. Preston Lord was killed at a Halloween party, beaten by these thugs. 2 days later, on October 30th, he died from his injuries. And Chad and I were talking about it. We don't talk enough about Preston. We're talking a lot about how do we capture these Gilbert Goons. But who is Preston? So we decided to ask his head basketball coach at Combs High to come on, and he's been nice enough to do so. Hosea Graham, Coach, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good, Chad and Larry. Thanks for dialing me in. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I think you hit a really good point. So much is focused on the assaultants, the ones who were responsible, and we don't, again, they haven't released those names, but no one's really talking about who Preston really was and what we've lost.
Yeah.
We've lost so much. This young man was a 4.0 student. He was loved, and his friendship was cherished by not just only the people on my basketball team, but there were friends throughout the school who really struggled with the loss of Preston in their lives. The things that I think he was planning to do with his life have impacted the community, if not the state, if not the world. From my perspective and being around him and coaching him, he was one of those kids that you just knew was going to become some type of valuable leader in the future and have so much to input into the world. And we lost that.
Coach, how did you find out, and what was that like?
Well, the crazy thing about it, it was at 2 o'clock in the morning, one of my players called me bawling, just bawling, and I'm getting out of bed, and I'm saying, what's wrong? What's wrong? He said, Coach, Preston's in the hospital. We need you. We need you. And this is how I found out. And I'm thinking, what do you mean he's hurt? Some kids beat him up. I'm thinking, Preston? Some kids beat up Preston? How could that possibly be? He would be the least person that I would think would be involved in any infractions at all. And got down to the children's hospital, and we could not see him. But by the time I got there, all the teammates started piling in. It was like 4 o'clock, so 5 o'clock in the morning, and everybody was there. So we were all together praying and hoping for the very best outcome.
Talking to Hosea Graham, head basketball coach at Combs High School, who was the coach of Preston Lord, who was killed by these thugs, the goons as they're called. Let's talk about him. You talk about the things that he has done. What was it like on a day-to-day basis was this kid? Here's this kid that, we're trying to get people to understand who he was, because as we talk about these goons, it's, this was a living, breathing person who was somebody's son, who was a friend. I don't know. We don't even know if he had brothers or sisters. And obviously this kid had touched a lot of people in the community and at school.
Yeah, again, let's bring the people to realize that he was a 16-year-old teenager with his whole life ahead of him, who had a sister. His mother, Autumn, is just a beautiful person. His whole family seems to fit in that mold of, wow, they are really a classic family who thrives in their community and who has a lot of great friends around him. Even at school, as I spoke, he was a 4.0 student. A lot of people really looked up to him. He was a leader on and off the floor as far as a basketball player. So he influenced so many people in a positive way on a daily basis. I coached for 20 years, and, I get an opportunity to coach special kids, and there's a handful of them. And Preston falls in that category. And, again, I just can't reiterate that we lost him. Yeah. What a great loss that we all have experienced, just not for the day, but what he would probably have done for us in the future.
Yeah. Hosea Graham is our guest, head basketball coach at Combs High School, and he coached Preston Lord, who was beaten brutally by a bunch of these thugs out in Gilbert called the Gilbert Goons. and he died on October 30th. I went to a Halloween party, and these goons picked him out, and they killed him. You're the basketball coach. Tell everybody what happens at your games now when a player checks in.
So we started a tradition. Preston would have been number 5, and one of my players, his best friend, puts the jersey on the very first chair, which I would sit in, but I sit in the second chair now. And as kids come into the game and come out of the game, everybody pats that chair, everybody pats that number. And for me, it's a way of them recognizing that Preston is still with them. And it's just so important for mental health, which, again, you think about the NFL, you hear about it in the NCAA and the NFL about players and mental health. I think this is part of that because mental health really starts with athletes, even at the high school level. Yeah. The tragedies that occur in their life, the things that occur in their life, eventually mental health becomes a big play of it. And these boys have decided that putting that jersey on that front seat, touching it as they go on and off the floor, brings them some kind of peace of mind and some connection that they're still connected to Preston.
That's beautiful.
Hey, Coach, we'll question here. We got about a minute left. What's it like around school? Are there kids nervous? Are there kids who are, because this, like you said, this happened of all the kids, Preston. Yeah. Are there kids that are, nervous? Is there this underlying fear of what may happen because nothing seems to have been done yet?
Very good question. One thing I want to commend our principal, our AD, and the superintendent of the schools. They have provided, so much support and avenues that the environment has calmed down, and they preached, please allow the justice system to work. I know we're all frustrated and we're all hurting, but as far as revenge actions and bad decisions, they have really minimized that and mitigated that by keeping everybody calm and giving people the things that they need to remain calm. So that's the environment that they've created around the school in all the sports, because Preston was familiar with a lot of kids in different sports. So the Combs Community High School is very calm and patient, and we're waiting. Yeah. We just want justice to happen, and we know that it will happen. And justice will happen in its own time. But we support what's going on, and we really believe that the right things are going to happen. So the principal and the AD and the superintendent has really stepped forward to get in front of any type of bad or negative activity coming from any of the students. And we've been really fortunate that we haven't had any bad experiences like that because of their support.
Hey, Coach, maybe we can come out and meet you, say hello, watch a game, pay a tribute to Preston a little bit. If we can make that happen, that'd be awesome.
Chad, Larry, that would be fantastic. Right. We're all fans of you guys and your program. So please, if you feel free anytime, just let me know. We will gladly welcome you.
Larry's got a great jump shot too, so just in case.
I have a terrible jump shot.
He's got a youthful look.
We'll put him on at halftime, and we'll have to prove that.
Hey, Coach, God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hosea Graham, head basketball coach at Combs High School, talking about Preston Lord, who was killed by the Gilbert Goons. Let's go out there. Let's look at the jersey, and let's remember this kid, number 5. We should be talking about him a lot more. That's one of the reasons we want to bring the head coach on. Yeah, and we thank him for doing that.
Thanks for watching Gaydos and Chad. Click to watch more and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.